Their mother's dying and none of the kids are going to the hospital with her. She called her eldest daughter. The first daughter says she's going on a trip with her mother-in-law today. Call the second daughter. But the second daughter was on her way to a meeting, so mom couldn't say anything. So she went to the oldest daughter, who was not doing her job. But he suspected that he was trying to take her on a blind date and rejected her. She had no choice but to go to the hospital alone. When she found out that her lung cancer was terminal and she had only 3 months to live, she was dumbfounded. How could she be relieved of her children if she had to leave just like that? The eldest daughter was in a mess. The youngest daughter is still unmarried, and she promised to take care of her second daughter's children. Even her younger brother, who had been helping her for years, hadn't gotten a wife. How can a mother be relieved to leave them behind when her heart is not yet clear? Just after she got home, her mother came to Sansan's room and asked her how things were going with the editor-in-chief and when she planned to get married. But Lisa said she had no plans to get married. It turns out Jack had a failed marriage, so he didn't have the courage to get married again. Because of this incident, the two of them haven't contacted each other for several days. Her mother would never allow her daughter to marry a divorced man, but in order to let her daughter find a home before she died, mother had to agree to let them get married. But Lisa said she wanted to live with her mother for the rest of her life. Her mother was furious when she heard that. She said, "You're 32 years old and you're still asking for money from your sister. Not only do you not have a job, but you've been writing novels for 10 years, but you're still not getting anywhere. If I die, who are you going to live with?" Her mother's words hit Lisa where it hurts. So mother and daughter had another fight. The mother really regretted that she had spoiled her daughter. In the evening, her second daughter came back to visit her. Mother told Kate to get along well with her own mother. Seeing her son-in-law's character, she knew she could take good care of her unborn grandson, but Kate insisted that she wanted her mother to take care of her own child. The mother knew that only her daughter, who was not related by blood, loved her the most, and that she was the only one who gave her the most peace of mind. In the dead of night, mother looked at the calendar and counted down the days, but there were still 3 months to go before the cabbage was ready. If she waited any longer, the children would never get to eat her kimchi. Then she told her brother to buy 100 cabbages in the morning. The sudden demand for so much cabbage startled her brother. Lucy returned home with the children early the next morning. The worst thing was that she had severe face allergies after only 1 day out. Seeing her husband sleeping in the living room after being drunk last night, Lucy was furious. But before she could rest, she received a message from her mother asking them to help make kimchi. Then her mother called Kate as well. Lucy was angry and complained to her mother that she had to make so many kimchi in the summer, and that she was exhausted from going out with her mother-in-law yesterday. The oldest three were also reluctant to say why they had to do it every year. They don't know how much they'll regret the day they realize their mother's good intentions. Mother called her children back to make kimchi. The eldest daughter said she was exhausted from playing with her mother-in-law all day yesterday, so why did she have to come back today to help? The youngest daughter hated to help her mother with this kind of work. Only the second daughter listens to her mother the most. But who would have thought that their mother has been diagnosed with terminal lung cancer and has only 3 months left to live? She wanted to do her best to settle her children in the time she had left. When she saw the youngest daughter and the second sister arguing, she told them for the first time to get along with each other if their mother died, and that Lucy, as the oldest sister, should act like an older sister. "Kate, why do you always have to be so mean to the oldest sister who has no heart?" Just when the family was busy with a lot of things, Lisa's boyfriend suddenly came to visit. Lisa was surprised by Jack's arrival, because her mother had always refused to accept this divorced man. But to her surprise, Mom let Jack sit down and work with us. Everyone was surprised by the mother's unusual behavior. Seeing the children talking and laughing together, Mom couldn't help but turn her head and leave tears in her eyes. Lucy didn't understand why she had to make so many kimchi in the summer. She said everyone was already tired from working during the day and had to help you at night if you're really bored of being alone. Find something else to do and change your love of pickles later on. As the eldest daughter of the family, her mother was furious and kicked her out. When her cheeky son-in-law brought back the kimchi, Lucy was still angry and complained that she felt ashamed to let her second son-in-law, who had just gotten married, do this kind of work. But her husband thought Lucy didn't know any better. He said it's normal for Mom to call us back for whatever reason. Under her persuasion, Kate gradually changed her attitude towards her own mother. She also said that her mother told her to get along with her. She was grateful to be understood by her daughter's adoptive mother. Jim also urged his mom to visit his mother-in-law sometime. She's the one who raised Kate through thick and thin. On the other hand, Jack also returned 2 buckets of kimchi. Jack told Lisa that her novel had been published. He finally got up the courage to put the necklace he bought a long time ago on Lisa's neck, and formally expressed his love to Lisa. At the same time, the mother at home was crying alone in the darkness of the night. In the morning, her mother took out all her clothes. She wanted to dispose of her things before she died, but Lisa snatched away one of her favorite dresses. Then mother came back to see Jack, because she wanted to make sure he could marry Lisa and take her away as soon as possible if he really liked her. Jack didn't understand what she meant by that. He didn't understand why she changed her attitude towards him so quickly. After leaving Jack's place, her mother brought her daughter 2 more buckets of kimchi, but when she was about to leave, she bumped into Lucy. Mother knew it was her daughter's work time. She must have quit her job behind her back. The mother angrily scolded her daughter. "Don't you want to be dragged down by your husband and children for the rest of your life like yourself? I didn't send you to college for 4 years so that you can live as a housewife. But Lucy thinks that going to college is not going to help her. And in the end, she has no one to take care of her children. Mother really do not know when the children will be able to understand, and then left the daughters home angry. The sick mother was lying on the ground, struggling. At this critical moment, her eldest daughter called. When she heard the phone ring, her mother crawled over with all her strength. But before she could speak, her eldest daughter complained why she answered the phone. Was she still angry with herself for quitting her job? After all these years, why can't mom see her own difficulties? Who would want to quit a job unless she had to? After hanging up the phone, the mother couldn't help but cry. She worked so hard to help them, why can't she understand a little bit so that she can leave without worrying? Lucy quit her job thinking she could stay home and take care of the kids. Instead, her mother-in-law either asked her to help with the work or asked her to take herself out. In order to save money, Lucy couldn't even afford to use the air conditioner. When she found out that all the kindergartners were learning English, Lucy felt sorry for her daughter. So she decided to work at the supermarket as an hourly laborer so that she could earn a living without delaying the transportation of her children. But on her first day at work, Lucy couldn't understand a thing. After working in a bank for 10 years, how can she even have such a hard time with the simplest supermarket billing? It's embarrassing to think about it. Just after picking up the children home, my father-in-law called again. It turns out that her mother-in-law accidentally slipped in the bathroom and broke her arm. But she didn't see her daughter-in-law when she came home from the hospital, so she was very upset. Lucy's husband was very angry at her for ignoring her mother, because he didn't know that his wife was working in a supermarket. Lucy also felt very aggrieved by her husband's reproach. She said that in order to pick up the child I even had no time to change clothes. Cannot you see? When he found out the truth, Bob was angry and felt sorry for his daughter-in-law. Seeing his wife being bullied in the supermarket, Bob felt that he was really useless. If his wife is working so hard, why should a man be idle all day long? So Bob decided to change those bad habits in order to complete the performance as soon as possible. Even eating is a waste of time. Lucy here can only sit on the floor to eat a bite of food because she didn't have time to go home to see her mom. And mom didn't answer her phone for a few days because she quit her job. That's why the scene at the beginning appeared. But who would have thought that Kate's own mom would come looking for her? Lucy thought it was because something happened to Kate. Instead, she told her with tears in her eyes that her mother had lung cancer and that she wouldn't live more than 3 months, and told her to go home and take care of her. Lucy couldn't believe her ears. She had just had a terrible fight with her. Then she ran home like a madwoman. But her mom was already unconscious on the floor. Lucy hated herself for hearing her mother's voice. Why didn't she realize what was happening to her? How would the children feel if their mother's life began to count down? 1 minute Lucy is arguing with her sick mother. The next moment she learns that her mother has 3 months left to live. All the doctors could do was to try to help ease the old woman's pain. Lucy never thought her mother would leave her. She couldn't imagine how to live without her mom. She didn't know how she could support the family as the eldest daughter. The next thing her mother told her was that she wanted her to grow up as soon as possible and that she would be the pillar of support for her sister after her mother left. Now that Kate is pregnant, she must take good care of her body. The most important thing is to arrange for Lisa to get married as soon as possible before she leaves. And don't tell them that she's sick. As the eldest sister, you must support the family for your mother. Lucy felt that she was such a loser. How could she replace her mom? Helpless Lucy had to call her husband. She felt that she was not qualified to be her mother's daughter. A few days ago, she was angry with her mom because of the pickles. Now she realized why she had to pickle 100 pickles in the middle of summer. Bob couldn't accept this fact for a while. The only thing he has to do now is to take care of the kids and let Lucy serve her mother-in-law well in the hospital. Looking at her mother's haggard face, Lucy regretted not loving her properly for so many years. Every day she only knows how to take care of her own children. She never understood how hard it was for her mother. The next day Lucy went home to help her mother to get a change of clothes. Looking at the empty closet, she felt a pang of sadness. Then she hung up her mom's packed clothes. Seeing her mom's torn underwear, Lucy couldn't help but cry again. On the other hand, Lisa was happily choosing wedding furniture with her boyfriend. Jack wanted to change her mother-in-law's windows and doors when he was cleaning up the house so that she would be warmer in winter. Lisa was touched by her boyfriend's thoughtfulness. She had never thought so much about her mom, but Jack couldn't figure out why her mother-in-law suddenly agreed to marry them. Lisa said she wanted to get married as soon as possible so that she would be free and wouldn't have to cook for me. Lisa was so naive that she sometimes wondered if she was her mother's daughter. Lisa's naivety made Jack feel very helpless. When Lisa came back at night and saw that the lights were already out at home, she complained that her mother was really inhumane. When other people got married, their mothers were busy making preparations, but her mother only knew how to do business and sleep. And how could she have ever imagined that her mom was already suffering from the adverse effects of the medication? When she finally calmed down, the first thing she asked was how Lisa's wedding was going and Kate's health. Jim learned from his father that his mother-in-law was sick. His mother advised him not to tell Kate about it, but Jim thought if he didn't tell her now, Kate will probably regret it for the rest of her life. He couldn't let his wife have regrets, so he went to his wife's office. On the other hand, Lisa found out from her family that her mother was hospitalized, so the two daughters rushed to the hospital as fast as they could. This is the moment when Lisa, who was a failure, finally took on the responsibility of being the oldest sister. She knew that her two younger sisters were just like her. She knew that her two younger sisters couldn't accept the fact that their mom was sick, but now was not the time to cry. She said that if mom saw us being sad, she would be even sadder. When the three sisters gathered their emotions and stood in front of their mother, Mother couldn't help but cry. Lisa cried and jumped into her mother's arms. Kate couldn't control her emotions either. Mother and daughter hugged each other tightly. At that moment, Jim also came to his mother-in-law's face. Mother-in-law held her son-in-law's hand tightly, but she couldn't say anything. Jim knew that his mother-in-law meant that she had entrusted Kate to her, and would not let Kate suffer in the future. Kate was sad that when she first met her mother, she apologized for not being able to answer her calls because she had turned off her cell phone in the hospital. But she didn't even call her mom during this period of time, which made Kate feel even more remorseful. Jim didn't know how to comfort her. He could only let Kate rely on his broad shoulders. Kate knew that she was a child who should have been left in an orphanage but was raised by a kind mother. She can't go back to rest just because she's pregnant. She should have given more than Lisa and Lisa. Lisa also told her boyfriend about her mom's illness. She thinks she can't get married at this time. Jack, on the other hand, thinks the opposite of Lisa. He thinks it's important to get married as soon as possible so that his mother-in-law can feel at ease. But Lisa not only didn't understand her boyfriend's point, she even said childishly that she wouldn't get married if her mother's health didn't recover. Jack understands Lisa's feelings. In fact, when our parents are healthy in front of us, they are actually moving away from us day by day, but we are indifferent to them. We have to wait until they're lying on the hospital bed to start crying and making a fuss. No matter what, our parents will leave us one day. That's why Jack wants to get married before his mother leaves so that she can feel at ease sooner. Because Jack had been through the same thing. He didn't want Lisa to regret it as much as he did. With the comfort of her boyfriend, Lisa's heart instantly matured. At this moment, Kate has made a shocking decision. She wanted to take her mother home to stop the treatment. When Lisa heard this, she lost her temper on the spot. She said, "You're not even mom's real daughter, so what right do you have to make such a decision?" When Lucy heard her sister say that, she slapped her. Lisa did not understand why her sister hit herself when it was Kate who made her mom give up the treatment. It turned out that Kate had just witnessed her mother's adverse reaction to the chemotherapy treatment. Her mother was lying on the ground, begging her daughter to give up the treatment. Seeing her mother suffer like this, Kate's heart was broken. Kate wanted to know if there was a better way to relieve her mother's pain. But now the tumor had spread to many organs. The anti-cancer treatment is just a way to give her family some comfort. Kate knew that no matter what she did or didn't do, there was no way to save her mother's life. If that was the case, why did she have to put her mother through such pain? Lisa understands what Kate is saying and hopes that she doesn't take Lisa's words to heart. Among the three sisters, Kate gave her mom the most smiles. Kate gave her mom the most pride and reward. So Lisa was very grateful to her sister and hoped that we could all cheer for her. But the next day, Kate's relationship with her biological mother was suddenly exposed on the internet. A group of reporters went crazy and surrounded Kate. At that moment, Kate suddenly felt a pain in her abdomen and fell to the ground. When the mother learns that her daughter has been wronged by her in-laws, she has to fight for her daughter even if she has to fight with her last ounce of strength. It turned out that her rich father-in-law was planning to kick Kate out after she gave birth. Unexpectedly, Kate's own mother overheard this. For the sake of her daughter and for the sake of Jim's firm footing in the company, the woman planned to make Jim usurp the throne. Because the stock market of the family-run company has been falling in recent years, Jim realized that the company would soon go bankrupt if it continued like this. The old chairman thought that his son must have been blinded by those two women. But Jim is not greedy for the position of chairman, but he doesn't want the family to be torn apart because of his interests. The old chairman knew it was all a plot by the women and made up the excuse that his in-laws were sick and stayed behind to stab himself in the back. But when Jim became president, there was no place for his sister. So she found a reporter to expose the relationship between the woman and Kate. So she wanted to take advantage of the opportunity to kick them out of the company. The old chairman was so angry that he almost vomited blood when the news broke. At that moment, the foster mom also came to settle the score with the chairman. She'd already learned about the chairman's intentions from a woman. She said that if you could have kicked Kate out because she's her daughter, why did you have to make her suffer so much? From now on, the baby in Kate's womb will be cut off from this old man. She said you won't see this grandson until the day you die. We all know she won't live long anyway. What she said almost scared the old chairman to death. Luckily, Kate's condition is not serious, which makes the family feel relieved. But Lucy really admired her mother. She was already so sick, but when she heard that her child had suffered, she was like a chicken blood. Maybe this is the greatness of a mother's love. Although Kate is not her own flesh and blood, but she was born from the heart of her adoptive mother, and that's why she loves Kate even more. Seeing what her adoptive mother did for Kate, the woman realized how a mother should protect her daughter. She knew her sister-in-law's situation back then, but she still put a burden on her. The woman felt very sorry for her, but no one can understand the happiness that Kate brought to her. Although she complained that she never came to see her child, but when she does show up, she's afraid she'll take Kate away from her. She's lived with this fear for half her life. Auntie's wish is to live a few more months, so she can see her unborn grandson. Her sick mother is in the hospital for treatment. But the oldest forgot that she was on duty last night to take care of her mom. The sister who came to take over the shift was furious when she found out that Lisa had left her mother alone for the night. When the three sisters came to the hospital room, Mom was sitting there dumbly and refused to talk. Seeing her mother's tears in her eyes, Lucy seemed to have guessed what she was thinking. In fact, the last time Kate proposed to stop the treatment of Mom, Lucy also considered this matter. We all know the pain suffered during chemotherapy. Knowing that this kind of disease cannot be cured but still insisted on giving Mom the treatment to do all this is just to reduce their own inner sense of guilt. The moment her mother stepped into the house, she was so relieved that she told her eldest daughter to go and cook for herself. The three sisters are still doing the same thing. Lucy is making noodles and letting her sister taste them. The two younger sisters are still complaining about their sister's poor cooking, so they argued with each other. Lisa was beaten and rushed to her mother to complain. Her mother was also very enthusiastic and began to judge the children. The next day, she took Lisa to the cheapest hotel she could find. But Lisa really didn't want to have her wedding in such a place. What was even more unacceptable was that she chose her mother's wedding dress, which was the most popular when she was young, although she didn't have the chance to wear it herself at that time. But now she is wearing it on her daughter's body and her mother's heart couldn't be happier. Lisa was angry at Lucy for getting married in a better hotel, but she had to make it so shabby. Mom said it was because she had learned her lesson at the time that she didn't want to waste money on the wedding, and that it would be better to save the money for future needs, right? Although her daughter was reluctant, she finally agreed to have a simple wedding according to her mother's wishes. Mid-Autumn Festival is approaching. The mother-in-law decided to let Lucy go home to spend the Mid-Autumn Festival with her mother, and she has already bought movie tickets to go to the movies with her father-in-law. This is the first time in years of marriage that her mother-in-law has said such a thing. Lucy was so touched that she almost cried, and even her father-in-law was almost shocked. Since her mother-in-law got sick, she's thought a lot about her daughter-in-law. She always puts her daughter-in-law on her side. His wife has changed so much. He was very happy. On the other hand, the children accompanied their mother to the beach. Watching the children play happily, the mother's face smiled for the first time in a long time. Her own mother heard that Lisa had set a wedding date. She even prepared a set of the latest Korean dresses for her sister-in-law to give to her mom. But the adoptive mother wondered how she knew her size and why she had to call her pregnant daughter if she wanted to deliver the dress. The night before Lisa's wedding, her mother gave her daughter the dowry she'd been saving for 10 years and told her not to give up her career even after she got married. A woman has to be able to compete with a man so that she can have the right to speak. Although Lisa always wanted to get married, but when the day came, she couldn't bear to let go of her mom. At night, Lisa sleeps with her mom like when she was little. After her daughter went to bed, the foster mom called the woman. She told her to come to Lisa's wedding as a family member. Dressed in Korean clothes, the woman couldn't believe that she, a sinner, had the chance to go to Lisa's wedding. She was also very grateful to her sister-in-law for inviting her. But there's one more thing the foster mom wants to ask the woman, and that's to help take care of her daughter when she dies. Kate has her own mother, so she doesn't have to worry about her. Lucy and Lisa are about to lose their mother, so they won't have anyone to talk to about anything. After hanging up the phone, the two mothers were already crying uncontrollably. The next day, the mother dressed up and organized a wedding for her youngest daughter. When the woman arrived, the mother took the initiative to hold her hand and introduced the woman to her family. Seeing the relationship between the two mothers had been eased, Kate left tears in her eyes. The youngest daughter was happily married and her mother's heart was cleared. At the end of the ceremony, everyone sang and danced to the music. The mother was as happy as a child. After the wedding, she started coughing. Now that I've done what I had to do, the only thing she regrets now is that she won't be able to wait for Kate to give birth. So her mother gave Lucy the task of taking care of Kate. The youngest daughter here has been feeling a bit uneasy. Jack saw what Lisa was thinking and sent her back to her mother-in-law's house. The mother felt ashamed of her son-in-law when she saw her daughter go back to her mother's house on her wedding night. But the little girl just couldn't leave her mom. The children were playing wildly around her. The mother wished that time could stop at this moment. Lucy woke up in the morning and found her mother lying there motionless. Even at the end of her life, she didn't want her daughter to suffer with her. The mother, who only thought about her children, closed her eyes forever. In order for their mother to go to heaven to be with their father, the three sisters decided to make their mom look as pretty as a Korean lady. The eldest daughter puts on her favorite lipstick. The second daughter paints her hard-working hands with the most beautiful nails. The youngest daughter silently prayed that her mother's feet would not be too tired in her next life. At mom's funeral, the three sisters agreed that no one would cry, so that mom could leave with peace of mind. Lucy took care of her two sisters just like her mother did. She also told them to be polite to the guests who came to see them off.
엄마, 사랑해. 엄마, 사랑해. 엄마, 사랑해.
in order not to let everyone see their tears. The three sisters each hid in a deserted place and cried their eyes red the moment their mother left. The children could no longer control their emotions because they would never see their mother again, who had worked so hard for them all their lives. In the end, the children let their mother sleep by the river according to her wishes because her favorite place in her life was a quiet place. A year later, the younger brother ran his sister's store with great success. The three sisters would come back to mom's room whenever they could. Every season, they would help their mother organize the clothes she needed to change into. Kate bought her clothes that she never wanted to wear and even kept her cosmetics intact. The three of them used to fight over their mom's clothes. They can't help but laugh at the end. With the help of her parents-in-law, Lucy went back to work. After she retired, she helped Kate take care of the kids. The old chairman was finally relieved to hand over the company to Jim. She is so fond of her cute grandson that she can't let go of him. Lisa's new book has been well received by her fans. The man and his wife are no longer gossiping, and the wife accompanies her husband to his favorite show. Bob to change those bad habits and often help his wife to share the housework to take care of the daughter. The three sisters always meet at their mother's place by coincidence. They heard that God is everywhere and that's why he created moms. In our eyes, moms can do anything. But in fact, when we become mothers, we can only realize how hard it is to be a mother. The word mom always touches everyone's heart. In our hearts, moms are always so powerful.